I've been asked the question, how do I get my kid to stop biting his lips? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about biting lips. We all develop different nervous habits. Lip biting can be one of those things. It can be annoying. It can also cause a lot of chapping and damage to a person's lips so that they feel uncomfortable later on. But what do we do when they've got a habit? That's what we're going to be talking about. In this video, we'll talk about how to help a child develop a habit not to have the old habit. I have to admit, when I was young, I sucked my lip, my bottom lip. I was always sucking on that, and it would get so chapped, so raw. And it was just a nervous habit. I don't know why I did it. There was no real reason. But then once it got to be more chapped, I would start sucking on it even more because I wanted to relieve the pain. So sometimes when you feel a sensation and you give it another sensation, that makes you feel better, right? So it's just a type of stimulation to get your mind off of another sensation that you don't want to feel. Now, with lip biting, the same type of thing could happen. I think some people think that when people bite on things, it's an anxious thing, and it might be. There are some people that bite their fingernails, bite their toys, bite their pens, and they bite their lips too. They just like the sensation of biting on things. I know it can be annoying, but I have to tell you, it's not the worst behavior in the world, okay? Me sucking on my bottom lip was not the worst behavior in the world either. I really don't recall my mother talking to me very much about the behavior. My brother would tell me about the behavior and how annoying it was. I had friends who would say, "Why are you sucking on your lip?" They would talk to me about the behavior, but I don't remember my parents making a big deal about the behavior at all. I think they knew that I would naturally overcome it. There comes a point for every child when they grow up that they get the opportunity to observe their behaviors through somebody else's lens. A friend says something or gives them a look or, "Why do you do that?" And then they realize, should I do that? Is this a socially acceptable thing to do? Maybe it's not. And they oftentimes can fix those problems all on their own. But I do know that occasionally harm can come from these types of habits. And so parents might have to bring the habit to their child's attention and help them develop a new habit. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So I have a lot of resources for self-government, and these 4 children's books are some of those resources to teach children self-government. They each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. This book right here teaches accepting no answers. So when a person accepts no answers, they can do 4 things. They look at the person or the situation. In this case, it would be biting your lips. Then they keep a calm face, voice, and body. Well, biting your lip is not a calm face, so they automatically would have to stop themselves from doing it in order to keep a calm face, right? Then they would say okay to either you if you told them no, or to themselves if they're telling themselves no, and then they drop the subject. Okay, that's how you accept a no answer. That means you don't think about it anymore. It's the don't think about it that is the hardest part for a person who has a habit that's getting in their way. When you get a craving to do something like suck your lip or bite your lip, you don't necessarily know where it came from. It's just a little random thought that comes into your head, or maybe you start feeling, a little nervous, and that's just your nervous habit that you go to. Whatever it is, you have programmed yourself that based upon a certain thought that you will respond in a certain way. It's a trigger response that you've created for yourself. The only way to change a trigger response is to use the same trigger and create a new response for it. So if you get a thought like, my lip is itchy, or I'm wanting to bite my lip for some reason, then you have to think to yourself, oh no, that's a no answer. I need to keep a calm face. I need to drop the subject, which means I need to think about doing something else and not do that. So maybe just that would be enough. Maybe you need to actually even give your child what that new thing is to do instead for a short time. It could be that you develop another habit, especially if the person is like ADHD or something and they're into those really habitual type of things that they do for nervous energy. That could be that they, end up then just going straight to another thing that could be equally as annoying. So keep that in mind. Maybe lip biting isn't the worst thing that they could be doing, especially if they aren't hurting themselves. So what you do is help your child identify that feeling that occurs, the thought that happens after the feeling, and then what to instruct themselves to do after that feeling, recognizing that they can give themselves a no answer and give themselves a new thought. Let's talk more about mindset and habits in the next video, how to get kids to change their mindset. I'll see you there.